Hi and welcome back. Hey, are you a first-time home buyer and you're just afraid of making a mistake? Well, then you should stay tuned for 5 things that you should do to avoid making a mistake on your first-time purchase. Hi there, I'm Colleen McLaughlin with Coldwell Banker, and I work in the Chicagoland suburbs. And I'm back with a topic today that I think is very important to a lot of home buyers right now. 5 mistakes first-time home buyers would like to avoid making. So stay with me, have a cup of coffee with Colleen, and let's go through those top 5. Number 1 mistake is not knowing what you can afford. Now this pertains to how much you earn every month, as well as how much you spend every month. So you need to start thinking about when you're purchasing a home, how much you're going to make, how much you're going to spend on taxes, insurance, utilities, and how much you might start making over the next 2 to 3 years, 5 years, and up to 10 years, so that you can determine what would be the best price range for you in a home from today to the next 10 years. Number 2, skipping getting a pre-approval is a big mistake. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you're working with a lender that you are referred to either by a family member or friend that have recently used them, or preferably your realtor who can refer you to a preferred lender who they know is going to get the job done. That lender needs to issue a pre-approval based on your credit, assets, and your income. And even though the lender may say that you're approved for one number, you may feel like that's too high, and that's okay. You don't have to use all the credit that you're allowed to borrow. You can use a portion of it if it works for what you're purchasing. So just remember, you're best armed with a pre-approval, and in some cases, if your lender will go ahead and throw you through underwriting, which means they're verifying income, they're credit checking, they're doing a little bit more of a deep dive through your accounts, then you are a stronger buyer in the long run, and you know that you're going to be able to get an offer over someone who hasn't done that. So number 2 mistake would be not getting your pre-approval before you start looking. Number 3 mistake would be being too picky. Now, we know that this is the biggest investment you'll make in your lifetime up to this point, your first time home purchase. But making a list of your priorities that you need to have versus the ones you'd like to have or would hope to have, your wish list, so to speak, is very important. As you start seeing homes in your price range, you're going to have to start making concessions because you're not going to find 100% of what you want within your price range almost any time. So what you try to go for is like a 70-30% ratio. And obviously the most important things are the things that are deal killers that you have to say, no, I have to have this. But there are some things that you can say, you know what, I'd be okay with a 1.5 bathrooms, let's say, versus a 2 bathroom, because at least we'd have 2 toilets. Those are the things that give you some flexibility. Remember, it's important to compromise when purchasing your home. It still can be your dream home, and sometimes the things that you think are super important end up not being quite as important as others. So try not to be too picky, be open to compromise. Number 4, a big mistake that first-time home buyers will often make is foregoing professional help, aka hiring a realtor. You should absolutely hire someone to protect your best interests. And when you're doing that, I would suggest asking friends and family of those who have recently purchased or sold if they have someone that they trust and like. If you don't have a referral like that, of course you can go online and start Googling realtors in your area. I would encourage you to call them and interview them. Ask them for references. If they can't provide you with a couple of people that have just used them recently with some information on how it went, then I'd be skeptical. You want to hire someone who's a full-time realtor who can provide you references and who is going to have your best interest at heart. One thing I would caution you against is calling the listing agent on any given house that you see online. They do not necessarily have your best interest at heart. Remember, the seller hired them to help them sell their house for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. So therefore, don't assume that that listing agent is going to reduce their commission and make it a better deal financially for the seller if you as a buyer use them. That is not necessarily the case on how it works every time. So please do yourself a favor and hire someone that will be paid through the listing, essentially, but that will have your back and be able to do the best job in explaining the process to you, specifically as a first-time home buyer. You want to make sure that you do your due diligence, so hire a realtor. And finally, number 5. Be careful of becoming too emotionally invested in the property that you put an offer in on. So many things can happen to cause an offer to fail or fall through. And you need to be able to pull yourself back and make a rational decision based on facts and not on emotion. I know it's hard. I too have bought and sold with Mike 4 times. We've personally bought a house. And it's hard not to envision your kids running in the yard, or where your home office is going to be, or that cool little nook that you're going to make your coffee bar in. I would just say a word of caution. The bones have to be good. The location has to be good. It has to meet the certain needs that you need. But all deals aren't over until they finish. Or as my theater teacher used to say, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. So try not to get too invested in the outcome until it's over. Easier said than done, but you'll make better decisions overall if you can stay a little bit more neutral about it. So that concludes the 5 mistakes to avoid as a first-time home buyer. I hope it was helpful. There's sure absolutely a lot more things that I could tell you about tips and tricks for first-time home buying. And if you'd like some more information about how to interview and hire a realtor, why don't you check out my video over here. Again, if you're enjoying my videos, please feel free to like this video and subscribe to my every week series. I will be posting videos every Thursday afternoon, so I hope that you enjoy them and share them with your friends and family if they are of interest. Thanks again for joining me with Coffee with Colleen this fine afternoon here in the Chicagoland suburbs. I'm Colleen McLaughlin with Coldwell Banker, and I bid you adieu for the day. Thanks so much.